Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soul Work Wednesday. Thank you for being here. It's been a minute. I've had a crazy couple of weeks of congestion and sinus stuff, which is sort of normal for this time of year. This time of year definitely affects the lungs, and the sinuses seem to be a big spot at this present moment for a lot of people. Also, people are getting bronchitis, so um, it's again that's that heaviness of earth and water that is still manifesting this kapha season, and so we want to be really conscious about how we are navigating this experience we're having in our body. So notice the heavy, notice the congestion. So we want to notice the physical response, and then also notice the energetic response, because this this heavy can often lead us into feeling like we are either stuck or we can't move, or it almost feels like a state of paralysis in some way where we feel like we're frozen in time. And this can lead to depression, and this can lead to that place of feeling hopeless. And so I want to empower you to stay connected to yourself and to stay present to the energy that's moving through you, because even if you feel stuck, there's still energy moving through you. There's still life force, there's still prana, and we are basically always making a choice on some level to move towards what is life affirming, or which is bringing us closer into that dense um, darkness. Or we can be, more clear and say we're either moving towards life or moving towards death. And so when we frame our experience moment to moment, and we look at how we're operating and how we're choosing, we want to look at, what am I choosing in this moment and where am I choosing from? And so if we're choosing from this state of heaviness, which if it's there, it's very hard not to choose from that place, because that's just the reality of the experience you're having. And so how do we empower ourselves to stay present to the idea that impermanence is real, and that nothing stays as it is? There will always be a wave. There will always be an ebb and a flow. There will always be a contraction and an expansion. And so we look to this density, into this darkness, and go, okay, there's going to be light. And really, if we go deeper into the darkness, usually that is where the light is. And so the thing about the depths of our darkness, or the depths of our pain, is that it's really hard to go there. It's not an easy ask. It's not like, oh yeah, just go hang out with your pain and be present. And yeah, it sounds like a really simple task, and it's not. We've been trained in society to sort of um, overlay anything we can over our pain so that we don't have to experience it. Whatever we need to do to numb it, whatever we need to do to sort of like pull away from it, whatever we need to do to make it something else. And so the ask here is to be present to it, and to sit with it, and sit beside it. And when you sit beside it and you almost enter into the depth of your own heart, and you enter into a conversation with your pain, then it hopefully has a little less power over you. And feeling it becomes a little less terrifying the more we do it. So we don't want to drown in this abyss of darkness and in this place of hopelessness. So we need to look for those little sweetnesses. We need to look for the things that light us up. We need to notice the things that bring us joy. We need to notice the things that, you know, connect us to our own presence, and to our being, and to our, our core, our inner light, our presence, so that we can operate from this place of connection. And it's not necessarily easy, but sometimes it's as simple as, being aware of the breath and, going for a walk and looking at the sky and taking a shower and, you know, calling a friend or, whatever it is, do one thing. And so I will very often say to people, I don't want to give you more stuff to do because the reality is most of us are already overwhelmed, but we need to do at least one thing in the direction of our own healing, in the direction of our own nourishment, in the direction, even if it's like making yourself a delicious meal, even if it's, you know, taking the time to even just notice what that is. Like, what to you is a delicious meal? Like, what would make you feel good? Like, what would make you feel nourished and held and supported? Um, and we want to try to like breathe and settle into ourselves and give ourselves what we need, because this is really how we bring ourselves out of this darkness. Is we show up as that person who is going to pull us out, that is going to retrieve us, that is going to say, okay, this is it. Like, it's you and me, meaning me and me. And, we're going to reach out for the support that we need. But ultimately, like, we're the only ones that are going to be able to show up for ourselves in this way. And, this is so hard in society because we're taught codependency and we're taught to reach out past our own skin to get the things we need. And I'm not saying we're not going to do that on some level. I'm just saying we need to reach in first. So feel your sitting bones settle and feel your body settle and move the pelvis a little from side to side. I can feel in me today the anxiety stirring. I can feel like that energy lift. I can see it in my physical movements. My arms want to move a lot. I mean, they often do when I talk, but um, I can feel even my body kind of swaying from side to side, not wanting to sit still. And so, this is how um, this is sort of forming my experience in this moment. So I just notice what's happening, and it's like, oh, okay. I have a little anxiety today. I'm not exactly sure why it's showing up today in particular, but I'm going to be conscious of it and I'm going to try to settle, and I'm going to try to nourish myself in a way that is going to support that anxiety, which means grounding food, actually. And so, this sort of is the paradox of the heaviness I was talking about. This is more of a lightness. This is more of a um, I want to say there's more air and space here versus that earth and water. So feel the earth and water in your pelvis. And I want you to take your hands to your solar plexus, the place where your ribs split. And I want you to just breathe here into your belly, into your power center. And this power center, this will center, this sun center, the fire center of the body, we're going to use this space in the body to burn off whatever feels congested, what feels heavy, what feels dense, what feels dark. And we're going to let this fire burn off the fog. We're also going to let this area of the body, this solar plexus space, that correlates with that sun center, energy center, will center of the body. We're going to let it support and hold the heart center. We're going to let it support our vulnerability. We're going to let it support our open hearts, our ability to give and receive love. So when we hold our power, when we are authentically ourselves, when we are connected to our presence and our being, when we have ourselves here in this power center, means we have authority over our own presence. It means we know who we are. And who we are, the reality is it's always changing. But there's a core part of us, there is an essence, there is a part of us that is really always us. And so we want to hold space for that part and honor the changing that occurs around that steadiness. So we can allow our hearts to stay open to possibility and to presence. And so we stay available to experience life, to live our lives, to enjoy our lives. And again, it might be one small thing, if that even feels overwhelming, that task of enjoying your life. Okay, what is one thing? What is one thing that brings you joy? One thing that feels nourishing? One thing that feels supportive? One way that you show up for yourself that makes you feel cared for and adored and loved and cherished? Feel the sitting bones anchor again and breathe into the back of the lungs. Feel the expansion of the back of the heart. When you pause here in this space, can you listen to that inner conversation that's happening? Can you listen to the wisdom of your own presence? Can you soften to receive and to hear and to hold? We hold the space of being plugged into ourselves, authentic, clear, and connected to our own power, but still open to the possibility of change and shift and experience. If your hands are still on your solar plexus, you can just move them up to your heart, bringing your hands into Anjali Mudra, and take a nice deep inhale. Exhale completely. Honoring the connection to your own heart, to that sun center, that power center supporting your heart. Honoring your presence, honoring your potency. Gently bowing your head to your heart and to your body, to your mind, and to this resource you hold. Namaste. I hope you all have a beautiful week, and I will see you soon. Bye.